This video will show how to create, link, and use the Profile Workbook. The Profile Workbook is a new Excel workbook that can provide a more detailed summary of a tree member's life. The Profile Workbook uses data from the Tree Workbook. However, any changes made in the Profile Workbook will not affect the data in the Tree Workbook. The Profile Workbook will also use macros and VBA code to work, so be sure to enable content if prompted to do so. See the additional help videos for more Family TreeXcel options. A Profile Workbook can be created for any selected primary person in your tree. Once created, you will start with only one worksheet called Main. From this worksheet, you can begin to add what are called profile pages. Profile pages are brand new Excel worksheets that will cover a part of a person's life. These profile pages can be blank or have templates with data from the Tree Workbook filling out certain fields. The Tree Workbook must remain open in order for data and relationships to calculate properly. There are no formulas on the profile pages, so they can be modified and edited however you please. Once you are done creating the profile pages, you can print or PDF the entire collection together. This can serve as a supplement to any charts and indexes created in the main Tree Workbook. The Profile Workbook follows the same principles as the Tree Workbook. You should not do any of the following: rename the main worksheet, insert or delete rows or columns, manually hide or unhide any of the worksheets, or modify any of the option cells. To initiate any of the options, you will double-click on that respective cell. You can use the cell options or click on the tabs at the bottom of the page to navigate between the worksheets in the workbook. All the main worksheet and page worksheet options will be explained in further detail later. Profile workbooks are created in the main Tree Workbook. First, select the primary person, always highlighted in yellow, that you want to create a profile for. Then double-click on the Create Profile option. This gives you three options to select from. The first is Open/Create Profile. Clicking this will either create a new profile workbook or it will open an existing profile workbook for the primary person. When a new workbook is created, it is automatically named and saved into the Profiles folder in the Family TreeXcel directory. Do not move these files from this location to avoid errors. The next option is Link Profile. Clicking this will allow you to select an existing profile workbook to link to this primary person. The profile workbook selected must be in the Profiles folder in the Family TreeXcel directory to work properly. The last option is Unlink Profile. Clicking this will allow you to unlink an existing profile workbook for the primary person. This will not delete the profile, just unlink it to the primary person. When ready, you can click on Open/Create Profile. This will generate and save a new Excel workbook. It will open to the main worksheet. The main worksheet will display the primary person's ID and name at the top. This cannot be edited. You must use the Tree Workbook options to create a new profile for someone else in your tree. There are 9 options you can choose from on the main worksheet. The first is to modify the default heading format for all profile pages. This can be done by modifying the font and cell fill color in the cell N1 to your liking. Whatever scheme you select will be the default design for the header of all the profile pages created afterwards. The other 8 options can be activated by double-clicking on that respective cell. Double-clicking the Add Page option will open a form to allow you to choose the topic and design of the profile page you want to create. Before clicking the Add Page at the bottom, first you must select the options of your choice. The Choose Page Category option will allow you to select the profile page category you want. You can select from the drop-down list or begin typing in the field, and it will autofill if that category exists. You can choose blank if the category you want does not exist in the drop-down list. The value in this field will be the header title of the profile page. They are only suggestions, and the actual title can be manually updated on the profile page directly. If you select marriage as the category, you will also be given the option to choose which spouse to select for the profile page. The next option is page layout. Here you can choose if you want the profile page to be a portrait or landscape setup. The next option is page details. You can choose either template or blank. Template will produce some of the common fields for the category chosen. The data for these fields will automatically be filled with applicable data from the tree workbook. Not all categories will have a template. Only 9 categories will have design template fields. Choosing blank will just populate a profile page with only a header. You can then add and modify to that page as you wish, using the page options discussed later. If a category is chosen that does not have any template fields, then a blank page will be created by default. The next option is page type. Here you can select single or split. Single will create only one category for the new profile page. Split will allow you to choose a second category for the profile page. Both categories selected will populate onto the same profile page to save space. This is useful for topics you may not have a lot of details on. Note that the summary category can only be a single page type. Once you have the options selected of your choice, then click Add Page to create the profile page. The profile page is created on a brand new worksheet. On here you can add media and text and type into the cells as you please. New profile pages can also be added via the page options at the top. All of these page options are discussed later. You can add as many new profile pages as you wish by repeating this process over and over. A new worksheet will be created every time. You can double-click Add Title Page to insert a default cover sheet for the profile summary. Follow the prompts to make the title page portrait or landscape style. By default, a title page will be inserted first amongst the other profile pages. The person's unique ID number is at the bottom in red. There's also a blank area to enter this person's relationship to a primary person. This can be used if you're building a family tree book based around a single person. You can modify this title page however you want by typing into the cells or changing any of the fonts. Double-click Delete Page to bring up a list of all the existing profile pages created. Here you can select or unselect one or multiple profile pages to delete. Click Delete Pages to delete the selected worksheets from the profile workbook. You can click Delete All to remove all the profile pages and start over. Double-click Order Pages to bring up a list of all the existing profile pages. Here you can reorder the profile pages how you want. Select the profile page you want to move, then click on the up or down arrows to rearrange the order. Once you're done, click Set Order. It is highly recommended to use this option to rearrange profile pages. You should not manually move worksheets using the tabs at the bottom. The main worksheet should always stay as the first worksheet in this workbook. Double-click Print Profile to bring up a print preview of the profile summary. All the profile pages will print as one file. A default footer with a person's ID and page number will populate at the bottom automatically. To change any footers, you must manually do so on that specific profile page via the normal Excel page setup options. Double-click PDF Profile to make the entire profile summary a PDF file. The PDF will automatically be saved to the PDF folder in the Profiles directory. You can move or rename the profile PDFs as you please. Double-click Get Help to bring up the help options. Click Family TreeXcel YouTube page to go to the YouTube channel for all visual explanations. Click Help PDF file to open the written help guide for the profile workbook. If you have any unanswered questions after checking those resources, then please email Mike at familytreexcel@gmail.com. In order for dates and relationships to carry over, the tree workbook must remain open while using the profile workbook. By default, it should remain open when you create a new profile. If the tree workbook is not open, you can double-click Linked Database to open the linked tree workbook. If you rename the tree workbook, then you can double-click Linked Database and follow the prompts to relink the profile to an existing tree workbook. The print area on profile pages can be modified however you like. You can type into the cells, insert media, change fonts and colors. Any picture or media inserted can be cropped using the Excel formatting options. These changes are specific to that profile page. They will not save when you add a new profile page later. You can rename the profile page worksheets to anything you want after they are created. You cannot rename the main worksheet, however. In addition to these modifications, each profile page will also have a series of 6 options at the top. Double-click on the respective cell to initiate that option. Double-click on Quick Media to open up your File Explorer to select the media file to insert. You can choose any of the following image, PDF, and Word file types to insert. Once selected, you will be prompted to enter a caption for the media file. If you do not want a caption, just leave the input field blank and hit OK, cancel, or the red X. The selected media file and any caption will be inserted onto the profile page where it says Media Inserted Here. From here you can resize, move, change font styles, and crop images as you like. By default, the caption will automatically be grouped to the media file. However, you can modify either the media or the caption independently if you want. Double-click on Quick Text Box to insert a blank text box. The text box will be inserted where it says Text Box Inserted Here. You can then type in any details or data that you want and change the formatting to your liking. This may be helpful since a text box is more flexible than typing into the cells directly. Double-click on Media and Text Box to open up a new user form. This form will have two pages, Multi-line and Family. You can navigate between these pages by using the arrows at the bottom or by clicking on the tabs at the top. The multi-line page will allow you to enter text into a maximum of 5 lines. All data typed into these fields will be inserted as a text box. The green list box at the top contains some common categories of a profile input. When you double-click on these categories, the suggested input labels for each text line is updated. These labels are only suggestions to be used as a guide. This helps you have uniform input for certain categories across the profile pages. You cannot modify any of the suggested input labels. Once you have entered your text into the actual input fields, you can then either click on Text Only, which will just insert all the actual input lines as a text box, or you can click on Media Text. This will allow you to select a valid media file or image first, and then the text in the actual input fields will then be grouped to that media as a caption. The Family page is very similar to the multi-line page, except it is more family relationship oriented. You can enter any text into the actual input fields. The suggested input labels on the left are only suggestions and guides. The green list box at the top will contain all the primary person's immediate family members. If you double-click on a family member's name, it will automatically load their applicable data into the actual input fields. It will also allow you to check off if you want to use that family member's profile picture as the associated media file instead of searching for another media file. By default, the checkbox is marked to use the profile pictures. Once you have inputted the text into the actual input fields, you can then either click on Text Only, which will insert all the lines as a text box, or Media Text. This will allow you to select a valid media file image. The text in the actual input fields will then be grouped to that media as a caption. If the profile picture is checked off, then the profile image for the family member will automatically be inserted. If the profile picture is not checked off, then you have to select a media image from your File Explorer. The tree workbook must be open for the relationships to populate. Clicking the Clear All button will erase the text inputted into the form. Double-click Page Options to open a form which will allow you to create a new profile page. This will allow you to create a new profile page the same way you do on the main worksheet. Clear Page. This will clear all the data on the current profile page except the header. This will remove any template formats as well. This cannot be undone. Or delete a page, which will permanently remove the current profile page only. Double-click on Print Options to allow you to print or PDF the current profile page only. If you want to print or PDF the entire profile workbook, then use the Print and PDF options on the main worksheet. The last option is View Main. Double-click this to go back to the main worksheet. You can also click on the worksheet tabs at the bottom of the page to navigate.